would need my microphone. Where am I getting all set up right here? Here we go. Rule 1 of streaming, learn how to use the mic. No, I just want to hear myself. Okay. Let me bring everything up. Can I hear myself? It's the most important thing. Okay. Give me a moment. All right, I think I can hear myself, which is great. Bring it in nice and close. OBS is there. It's working. Pop this in. Pop that in. No, not there. And what I'm going to do is pop this in here. And last but not least, okay. And pop this in. All right, cool. Got first comment. Why can't I reply? Oh, there we go. Hey there. Okay. All right. That is ready to go. They got that. Finally, pop this to the side. Oh, we'll see. Oh, another one. Oh, good. Hi. All right, cool. Start recording. So if you have any questions, please just send them my way. Always do love good chat. Which is the microphone I'm recording on. That is the right mic. And you can get started. Cool. All right. All right, cool. Let's just get this going. So pop over to this feed. There we go. And we can get right into it. Oh, no, nearly forgot. Okay, nearly forgot to post one thing. All right, going live. And there we go. All right, I think we're just about to start things off. Everything's recording. That's posting. Let's move that over to there. Move this. And we can have now a bit of fun. All right, cool. All right. All right, cool. So we're seeing the right feed. Yes, we are. All right, perfect. So as I mentioned, if you have any questions, please chuck them in. Now, before we begin, I just need to pay the bills. Well, I'm trying to pay the bills with this. And that is that if you want to help out the channel, I do have this WebWash Premium community that I'm trying to start up. What I'm planning to do is get all of the popular live streams and then make them available as ad-free videos on the site. And best of all, it's broken up into separate sections, so you don't have to watch the whole 1 hour. And there's a whole other few things I can do with this. Once I do get a bunch of videos, I do want to do a bit of like a bit of AI where it generates a transcript, and then you can search for things, and you can then do better search as well. It just offers a better experience than trying to go through all of the live streams. Now, right now, I'm offering a 99 €99 lifetime access. You can just come in here, buy it once, and you get access also to a forum as well. Here, I've got a community forum where eventually I would like to chat to people, but right now I'm just posting updates to it. So if you want to help out the channel, join it, and it'll give me a chance to, yeah, just help people out and also try and scale this operation. Anyway, that's it of the selling. Maybe at the end I'll mention it again. Anyway, let's get into it. All right. So tonight I want to talk about how to embed web forms. Now, why are we going to focus on embedding forms? Shouldn't we learn how to create forms? Well, yes, creating forms are important, and I've covered how to use web form in the past, and there is a live stream on it. And I do also have a cut up version of the live stream on the WebWash Premium community. There you go. See, I plugged it again. But once you've created the form, a lot of time is often spent embedding it into certain places of Drupal. For example, you can have a form appear in a dialog box where you click on a button and it appears in a pop-up. That is one way of doing it. The other way is to have a separate page for the form. Another way is adding it to the sidebar via a block, or you can add it as a block below any content. Another way of doing it is to attach it as a custom field on a content type, or even through paragraphs. There's so many ways of embedding forms, and I think it's important to have a video that just kind of explains a few common ways on how to embed forms. So today we're going to be using Drupal CMS, and we're going to be using Webform, and we're going to create 1 or 2 web forms, and then we're going to look at how to embed them. So if you want to follow along at home and you're not using Drupal CMS, you can come along to Webform right here, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and use the Composer command and download version 3. As of right now, well, yeah, if you're using Drupal 11, you need to be on version 3. So that's important. So make sure you're downloading version, 6.3 of Webform. Now, if you're using Drupal CMS, there is another way you can install it without having to manually download it using Composer. So what you can do is go to Extend, and then click on Recommend. And then from here, you should see Forms. And if you click on it, just click on Install, and it is installed. There you go. Webform is installed. It is done. That's how easy it is to install it using recipes. And this is a new thing for Drupal, and specifically Drupal CMS, the ability to just install recipes. And we'll also install the blog. There we go as well. All right, so a few questions. All right, which tech are you running on the platform for the premium? Okay, so I guess you're referring to the WebWash Premium. That is, believe it or not, that is WordPress. So webwash.net has been WordPress for like the last pretty much 10, well, no, I'll say nearly like 9 or 10 years. When I decided to upgrade the site, so it was Drupal 7, I didn't want to upgrade it to Drupal 8 because writing content online was better back in the day in using WordPress. And so the site's just been WordPress the whole time since. And it's one of those things where if it was Drupal, I'd spend too much time modifying it and not actually writing content. Sometimes you have to just, use a tool that, you're just purely using it as a content editor and not spending time creating content types over and over again. So I have been thinking of switching it. Maybe I should have moved it to Drupal, but then I thought I'd lose months just building out the functionality. So yeah. All right, another hello in YouTube. Hi there. Well, hello, hello, hello. Please send your questions. So anyone who's chatting, please send them. I do like a chat. All right. Now, one thing to be aware of is that once you click on install at this point, if you just go to structure, you should see a web form right here. You can't see it, and that is because it's done it through the backend. Well, sorry, through an Ajax request. So you just need to refresh. So we refresh, and now we go to structure and click on web forms, and now we see our web form page and settings. So let's quickly just go through the process, the backend, sorry, of web forms. So here you can see all of your forms. If you click on submissions, you can see submissions. Click on options, you can see reusable options. Now, I do cover this in a live stream on using Webform, so please go check it out if you want to learn more about Webform. Then under configuration, you have the configuration for the whole of Webform itself. And you can see there's a lot of options here. Elements, you can configure submissions, handlers, variants. Actually, variants is something that I do want to look at because I haven't really used, but it does seem pretty cool. Exporters, which is pretty useful. Libraries. Oh, I did not know that there's that many libraries. All right, we've got another comment. Thanks for all your hard work with these videos. Well, thanks for joining. No, thanks a lot. No, it's good. It's good. It's good when people come on and actually chat. Like that's one thing I really do like about these live streams. And then one of the reasons why I started doing more live streams than just doing videos, because recording a video is such a, I don't want to say it's a painful process. I love recording the videos. I just don't like editing them. And then after a while, you just get a collection of videos that just sit there unedited. You enjoy the recording, but the live streams is always fun to chat. No, thanks for coming. So here you can see all of the available libraries, and then under advanced, you have a few more advanced options. Okay, so then on each form, what you can do is click on build, and then here you have a few more options as well. Under settings, you have a few more settings options. As I mentioned, if you want to learn more about just how to create web forms in general, I've got a live stream for that. But let's take a look and see the most basic way of embedding a form. And this is the default functionality that comes with web forms. So if you click on the View tab, right now you can see the form, okay? This is the default standard way of embedding a form. It comes out of the box, and you do have this path of form / and then it gives you up the top here the actual ID of the form. Oh, another one. Oh, hugs from Brazil. Oh, thanks. Well, thanks a lot. Always share your videos. Well, thank you. Yes, share them. Let people know. That's the thing. We need to talk more about Drupal. That's what I'm trying to do. People don't talk about Drupal enough. I hate to say it, but Drupal needs more influencers. Not like that influencers, but it just needs to be talked about. People need to Google things and see just videos and content about Drupal. And I feel like Drupal doesn't seem to have that because most of the people that are pushing Drupal and the agencies that work hard in building the functionality of Drupal are great at writing code, but we need to be better at just promoting Drupal. And that's one thing that's lacking. That's why share the videos. And that's why I've got all these live streams. There you go. So as I mentioned, you have this path, form / and then the actual form ID. And we can go ahead here and just put in a name, name, email, and then message, and then hit submit, and it is submitted. Okay, simple. But we can also change the URL of this page. So if we go to settings and then scroll down, so make sure you're on settings, and this is the settings on the web form. This is the confusing part, and this always gets me. Trust me, I always forget where settings are in web form because there's so many settings, but you do have these sets of tabs where this is the configuration for the specific form. But if you click on web forms up the top here and then click on configuration, this is for web form in general. Okay, so sometimes you can get a bit confused. You can also, I should also mention that you can set a default base path for your web forms as well right here. So this applies to all of your forms. But in this case, what we can do is we can come along in here and go to settings, general, and put in a slash, always start with the slash first. And we'll call this one, what are we going to call it? Contact us form. And on the confirmation page, contact us form slash confirmation. Okay, so we do all of that and hit save. And what I'll do is I'll open this up in a private window. There you go. We've got this now new URL and we've got this captcha. Now I don't see the captcha originally because I'm logged in as admin. But if I put in a name here, test, put in a new, name, email, and hit submit, it's going to submit the form, but it does it in line. So it doesn't redirect us. The path still stays the same. All right, another comment. It's weird that I'm currently working on a site dealing with forms and was looking for help embedding a form on a page and saw this live stream. Well, there you go. There you go. The universe met you halfway, as they say, when you put it out there. That's awesome. All right, another comment. Okay, unfortunately or fortunately, the mass will not use Drupal until we have a good amount of themes, modules, and page builder to use like WordPress has. Yeah, I mean, Drupal's always going to be a more niche type of product. There is no way that Drupal's going to beat WordPress. It's not. That ship has sailed. It never was. So it's going to be more enterprisey. I kind of cringe when I say that because, you say enterprisey. But yeah, Drupal is more enterprisey. Yeah, so yeah, the comment. I suppose things will be different once Experience Builder will go, live. Let's wait and see. I feel like everyone's betting so much on this whole Experience Builder or Canvas as it's called. I just hope that the whole community jumps behind it because I feel like Experience Builder Canvas. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and please just chuck it in the comments if I am wrong. But for me, Canvas is kind of like a new version of Layout Builder. It essentially is. That's the way I see it. But I don't think Layout Builder really reached its potential. So let's just wait and see. I'll be curious to see. Yeah, things are exciting in the Drupal world. Because the way you build Drupal sites, especially with that Canvas stuff or Experience Builder, from what I've seen, it's going to control everything. You can use it to manage your layouts and your templates and also create landing pages. So, hey, let's wait and see. And there's also competing page builders as well in Drupal. So we'll see how it all goes. It's going to be fun stuff. It's going to be fun. But I don't think Drupal's going to all of a sudden pick up and be used by everyone. I don't think so. All right. So here, let's change the confirmation page so that it's using a different path. So if we go into settings, because remember, I put in the confirmation of contact us form / confirmation, and let's go to confirmation and let's change it to page because I want the user to be redirected to the page, to the confirmation page. And a few reasons why you may want to do this. First of all, you may want to have a separate page for the confirmation. And that can be because you want to put in extra information, you want to put in some type of, I don't know, video that thanks them. But another reason is to actually track through your analytics how many people start at the beginning of the form and also end up filling it out. And you can do kind of like a goal and you can say, 100%. So, certain amount of traffic comes to the contact us form, but they don't fill it out. And you can track that if you have a separate URL for your confirmation. So let me pop this so I can get access to the form. So if we fill this out, name, again, email, hit that, and now we click on submit, it will now take us directly to this URL, and now you can easily track it. And that's what makes tracking it very easy. All right, another comment. Yes, but it seems more user-friendly, will draw the attention of some people. You are right, Drupal will not be. Yeah, hey, I'm all for making it user-friendly. Let's make it user-friendly. Absolutely. Absolutely. So and I'm ready to update all of my live streams and create new live streams because all of my old streams then will be kind of out of date when the new experience builder comes out. So yeah, I'm up for it. We need a page builder. We need a standard page builder that works, and that works 100% and that is fully supported by the whole community. Absolutely. So as I mentioned, when it comes to embedding in or embedding forms, you can use the default page. And I have used it in the past, but there are better ways of embedding forms. So let's now take a look at how to embed a form into a block region. Now, there's a few reasons why you may want to do that. First of all, you may want to add a form to the sidebar that always appears on the sidebar. Or you may want to embed a form and have it appear on specific content types. So let's say, for example, we have our blog right here, our blog content type, and we want to add a nice little form right down at the bottom, which is called "Was this helpful?" And then a user can add in a rating and submit a rating from 1 to 5 if the blog post was helpful. So let's go ahead and set that up now. And we can do all of that just by creating a basic form and then using a block and then adding a web form block into a region. Ah, great comment. I think it's easier than web form. Well, it depends what you mean by easier, and it depends what you mean by, yeah, well, absolutely. Flexible, yes, totally, absolutely. But if you do want to build just a basic blog, oh, I would say, yeah, that's a tough one now. I think Drupal CMS has really changed things, but before Drupal CMS, I would say WordPress was a better fit. But right now, yeah, creating a blog using WordPress or Drupal, I think they're both pretty close, but you still have the ecosystem. You still have the large ecosystem of themes, I think, in WordPress, and that and that does help. Unless you want your site to look like Olivero, which is pretty much the look and feel of this. But I do want to, I've been thinking of doing a comparison of creating a blog in WordPress and creating a blog in Drupal, just seeing how they work. My biggest issue with Drupal back in the day, especially when I was writing a lot more content online, because now I do a lot more videos, was that the writing experience in WordPress was better. However, now with CKEditor, it is like much better in Drupal. It is much better in Drupal. And you can also put in the Gutenberg editor as well in Drupal. WordPress feels like a money grab. Yes, it does. I mean, I've seen what is it? I've seen plugins go up in price a lot over the last 5 years, especially the last five years. It seems like every year or so, prices increase and they change it from like lifetime to monthly subscriptions and things like that, which can be annoying, absolutely annoying. That's why I always wait for the, what is it, Cyber Monday or Black Friday sales to buy a whole bunch of stuff or renew things. That's what I seriously do. There's a bunch of plugins that I have for WordPress, which I always, well, I turn off the auto renewal and I always purchase it around Cyber Monday, which is coming up, I think. Yeah. So that's the best way to save money. That's the best way to save money. Hosting is like, well, this isn't specifically for WordPress, but hosting providers are doing this very annoying thing where you purchase the first year of hosting for like 80% off. And then to renew it, you're paying $500-$600. So there is one hosting provider that you can get for like a year's worth of hosting for probably say $150. But to then renew it after the year has passed, it's about $600. And it's like, that's the thing, I just so annoying. And already 2 years in a row, what I've been doing is I've canceled the hosting, got a new hosting plan, and then just moved my site across. I just spent like 2 hours on a Saturday afternoon while there's not much traffic and move the site actually over. I don't know why, but so many times all the hosting providers do that now. And it can be sometimes very hard to get the exact pricing because they will say 90% off. And then in little fine print, after the first year, it's at, $20 a month instead of $5 a month. Anyway, I'm feeling a bit ranty today. It's just because I was having this exact discussion with a friend today when we met up for coffee about the cost of hosting sometimes. Oh, it's just annoying. All right, so before we can add our form into a block, let's go ahead and create it. All right, let's go to Structure, Web Forms, and click on Add Web Form, and I'll call this one, Was This Helpful? ? And click on Save. And we're going to create, let's add our element, and we'll add in the scale element, because if you click on this, what is a show preview, you can actually see a preview of the element. And you can get this nice little scale. So we'll add that one in, and we'll call this one Ratings. Well, no, we'll just call it Rating. And click on Save. I think my head is in the way. Let me move over to the other side. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. All right, another comment. Everything's going up nowadays. All modules are behind. Well, that's it. Yeah, they are. Absolutely. Everything is going up these days. Well, don't get me started about SaaS pricing. I can always spot when prices go up or SaaS price. I can always spot it in an email because they always send off an email saying in the subject line something like, we are committed to you. And the first paragraph is the company waffling on about how much they have invested in the last couple of years in the platform and how essentially we should be grateful that they have allowed us to use their system. And then in fine print, right down at the bottom, it's like, oh yeah, and by the way, we have increased the prices and no one is grandfathered in. And I know like things for example, Notion, okay? I've been using Notion for a very long time, since like 2018. And I'm grandfathered into a older plan. And occasionally I get messages saying that certain field types in Notion are going to be removed because I need to be on a new plan. And I keep emailing them and I'm like, oh, I was told that like this Gmail, no, what is it? There's a Google Drive integration field in Notion that allows you to just reference your Google Drive docs. So whenever I have a live stream, I do manage it through Notion and I reference a Google Doc in it. And I get a little message saying, you need to upgrade to the latest plan or this will be removed. It's like, oh man. So I email them and I say, am I going to be losing this functionality? But they have been good. To be fair, they have been good. But if you look at the price of Notion, to actually use everything that they are pushing, you're going to be spending like 20 bucks a month for it. It's too expensive. Yeah, exactly. Everyone is doing this. Yeah, prices are just going up. Prices are going up everywhere. And nowadays it's all about also, what is it? All of the all of the AI coding companies, you can see that at first it's always cheap. Like Cursor is cheap and then they increase the prices. Copilot was great, then they increased the prices. What is it? I recently saw Zed. Was it Zed? That's how you pronounce it. They increased the prices because they literally said, but to be fair, in their little blog post, they said that they are losing money. Like, just be upfront about it. If you're losing money, you're losing money. Just tell them. Yeah. All right. So we've created our scale. So we've added in this nice little widget for ratings. Let's now quickly add in a feedback. So we'll add a little text area. We'll call this one, what is it? Text area. And we'll call this additional feedback. And if we go to view, all right, we can see our additional feedback. All right, cool. Now, let's add a bit of smart functionality in here. And we only want to display the additional feedback and button if you select one of these options. And we can do that using conditional logic. So what we can do, let's go back into build. And let's click on additional feedback and then go to conditions. And we need to pull this out so you can actually see it. But from the state dropdown, select visible, and you want rating to be then checked. Now, let's just quickly go through this again. We are setting a state of visible on the text area. So visible if all, any, or one. Essentially, you can select any of these because we do have just one condition, but you can add in multiple conditions, but we're not going to do that, of course. So visible if all of the following is met. Scale, so rating, is checked. And let's hit save. And now you can see that additional is gone. And now it appears. Okay. So let's also do that for the button as well. Go to customize on the submit button. And we just do the same thing. Rating and checked. There we go. All right. So we have our form. And if it's filled out, then everything is displayed. All right. Now let's add this to the block. Well, to a region, sorry. So let's go to block layout and scroll all the way down to content below, or you can add it wherever you want. It doesn't really matter. But let's just add it to content below and we'll search for web form and you should see form right here. And we can search for our actual form. So we'll search for, what was it called? Was this helpful? Yep, that's it. And click on save block. And save blocks up the top there. Okay. Before we move on, let me just move myself back to the other side. There we go. It just makes my editing later much easier. All right. And if we go to the home page and go to any page, we can see, first of all, the block title. And if we click on any of these, we can then put in a submission and we are redirected to the confirmation page, and we can still see the block, the form down here in the block. All right. So there's a few things we need to clean up. First of all, let's only have it visible on a blog content. So let's do that. So I will click on configure block. Let's turn off display title, and we'll only display it on blog posts. Now it should only appear on the blog post. That's great. If we go anywhere else, it's not there. Okay, we're getting there. Let's go back and edit this. And what I want to do is just add in one element. What we can do is there is this HTML basic and advanced HTML. Let's just click on basic. And I'll just move myself. There we go. And we'll call this one was this helpful. And I'll just give it an H2. Move it to the top. And we'll also change the confirmation to inline. Thanks for the feedback. Hit save. And under general, let's switch on Ajax. Okay, there we go. So now if we come to our form down at the bottom, we have a nice little title right here. Now you could, okay, you can control this from the block system, but generally the block system is controlled by config. And so if you make a change, you may have to do a deployment, or then when you do a deployment the next time, you may lose that configuration. What I tend to do is I tend to not export any of the web forms out as config. So you can use config ignore module, which will just ignore certain config. And I often ignore the web form because it is controlled and edited and treated like content by editors. And this way they can easily come along in here and go build and then just make any change to the markup. All right. Okay. When am I going to redo the website to Drupal? Well, the thing is though, if I rebuild, so yeah, the comment is about rebuilding WebWash. If I rebuild WebWash into a Drupal site, that means the live streams are going to stop because I don't have time to create content and build out the functionality. That's the choice you need to make sometimes. At the end of the day, my job is to produce content, not to build another site. And I don't know, like, I don't know. I really don't want to be dealing with that because I've done this in the past where I've started to work on something and I'm like, oh, let me just rebuild it in something else. And then 6 months later, I'm still working on it. So who knows? But hey, who knows? Maybe I'll be talking about other platforms, not just Drupal. So then it becomes doesn't really become that of an important issue if I am talking about other platforms other than Drupal. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe I'll do I do want to potentially do a live stream on migrating a WordPress site to Drupal, like a basic one. Maybe not WebWash, but yeah, basic one. Anyway, we'll see. We will see. All right, so let's test everything out. And if I come along in here, give it a 5 out of 5, put in some feedback and click on submit. Now we get a nice little thanks for the feedback. And we can even turn off, let's go and turn off this back to form. Where is that? Confirmation. It's somewhere here. Oh, here we go. There we go. Off and gone. So now if we submit it, let's go submit it again, right down at the bottom. And we're done, okay? And the good thing is the user doesn't get thrown off anywhere else. They can easily submit it, okay? And if we view the submissions, let's go here. Oh, no, not there. Well, we can view the submissions from up the top here, and you can see exactly which blog post it was submitted to. So you can see it. And if you go to the actual web form results, so let me see. You can you see that? No, you can't. Let me just move my head. If you click on this drop down, you will see results. So you can click on that. And now you can see the submissions. And best of all, if you click on customize, you can customize the submission table as well, which is very, very useful. Now, I just noticed that the browser's not actually, let me just zoom in a little bit. Maybe that's a bit too much. There we go. All right. So let's go back to the form. Scroll all the way down. And if we configure the form, another thing you can do is you can actually set a default submission data. So what we can do, if you look at these examples, you can set a key and also the value for that key. Now, what is the key? Well, if we go to web forms, and then click on build, pretty much the key is anywhere in here. So let's go ahead and add a bit of text to the additional feedback. So all we need to do is come along in here and type in additional feedback. And then it is add details here. And you always want to make sure that you copy the exact, because the last thing you want is to debug it and then realize you haven't written the proper key. And then if we scroll all the way down, select the submission, you can straight away see that items have been, well, a default value has been added. Now, in the past, I've done things where I have added some type of default value into a hidden field. If you want to add a bit of extra tracking, I've done things like that. I think you can also, if we go back here, I think you can add tokens as well. Oh yeah, you may use tokens. There you go. You can also throw in a bunch of tokens. So if you have like the current date, current page, you can add that in. So there's a fair bit you can do. All right. Oh, sorry, I did miss one comment here as well. Well, because a whole bunch of comments came in at the same time. All right, I'm trying to make a web form come up in a modal window. What is the best way? I was hoping to do it in Twig. Well, there is a dialog box you can use for web form, and I will be covering that soon. So you can show it, you can display it in a pop-up window. So when it comes to adding forms into regions and displaying them as blocks, all you really need to do is create the form, use the web form block, and then just select your web form and you're done, and just add it to a region. Now, one thing to be aware of, this is the thing that keeps coming up, is that if you put in some type of reCAPTCHA or some type of spam prevention tool, you have to be careful because caching may be turned off when on those pages, because a lot of those capture and reCAPTCHA stuff do not work if the page is cached. So I've had situations in the past where, especially highly trafficked Drupal sites, where all of a sudden they want to add a web form to every single page. And then it's like, well, we can't really, well, we can do that, but then it won't be cached. The page that the form's on won't be cached. So one solution could be that you add a link to a separate form page where at least people can click on a link and then be redirected to a single page. And that way, that page will be uncached and then they can easily submit it instead of every single page being uncached. So just be aware of that. There's not much you can do about that. I've had many heated discussions about this. Well, the only other real option is to do everything through like JavaScript or something, and then just submit the web form submission using Webform REST or something like that, a module. So at this point, we've looked at how to use the standard page to submit a form, how to embed a form using a block. Now let's look at embedding a form using paragraphs. Now, the paragraphs module is a great module that allows you to create reusable components on your Drupal site. So I've covered it in the past. I do have a few live streams on using paragraphs. But essentially what you do is you create all your paragraph types, and you can add in any type of field because it is a fieldable entity. And then you would create a paragraph field on a content type, and then you can add these components, or if you call them paragraphs, whatever you want to call them, can be then added to the page. And one thing that I've done often is I've created a web form paragraph type and then used the web form field on that paragraph type. And then you can easily just add that paragraph in, and then attach a field and then have it displayed. So let's quickly go ahead and do that. So to start things off, go and download paragraphs using Composer. And I've already done that. So I'll just come along in here and search for paragraphs and install it. It does use the entity reference revision module, but it just pulls it down no matter what. Okay, let's go here. Go to paragraph types, and I'll call this one web form. You can call it whatever you want, but I'll call it web form. And let's add in a single field under reference, and you should see web form. We'll call this one just web form. And just leave everything as it is and click on save. Okay. Then under manage form display, we have our web form, which is just a drop down, which is great. And then we can, well, let's hide the label, and it's going to display the web form. Okay. All right. So now what we need to do is we need to add a paragraph field on our blog. So let's add it to the page. Let's add it to the basic page. So let's go into content types, click on manage fields, click on add field, and there should be a paragraphs field. There we go. Now you can call these components, you can call it whatever you want. I'll just call it paragraphs. And you can add in an unlimited amount. And we only have one paragraph type, so it'll just show it. But we will make one change. So if we scroll all the way down, there should be the paragraphs field. Let's move that below, say, content. And let's click on the cogwheel, and I'll make sure that the default is set to none. Because by default, it'll load up the web form paragraph, but we don't want that. Click on save, then go manage. And this is using paragraphs, layout builder, and it's showing it. It's great. Let's just hide it so that it doesn't show a label. All right. So we're getting there. And now what we can do is click on basic page, test page, And then we have our paragraph suite. Here we go. And let's click on add paragraph. And now we get the same option. We pretty much get the same options like we do in a block. So we can schedule it. We can close it or open it. Now, I personally haven't played around with scheduling. You're gonna hit some caching problems. Whenever there's scheduling, I always, you're gonna hit caching problems. But let's just select content and let's publish it. Put in a description, test page, click on save, and now we have our form and we've embedded it. And just imagine if you have 20 odd paragraphs, you can just go in there and just chuck it in and say, actually, I want a form here, here, and here. I want a paragraph component here and here, and that's it. And that is pretty simple. Oh, thank you. Oh, got a nice little super comment. Oh, thanks. Well, thank you for that. Thank you very much. It's always good to see that because it just shows that, people want this type of content, and I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Can I actually like that? I kind of like it. Yeah, first super. Oh, thanks. Thank you. Now you can also put in your default submission data as well, the same way. And as I mentioned, you can open it, you can close it. So if it's closed, it will just, oh yes, because I'm logged in as admin, I can see it all. But yeah, you do have a lot of options when it comes to these, well, paragraphs and things like that. But just remember, the process is you create your paragraph type, then you attach a web form field to your paragraph type, then you create your paragraph field on the content type, and then you're good. And then you need to probably configure a few things. All right, so another way of embedding forms. So we've looked at paragraphs. Now you could also attach a web form field directly on your content type. If you want, you can do that. But another way you can do things is by using Layout Builder. So let's go ahead and let's create another test page. Test page Layout Builder. All right, let's save that. Well, let's publish it. And if let's go to content types and let's make sure that we can, all right. So we can override and customize the layout at the page level. And that is because we have allow each content item to have its layout customized. Okay, we can do that. So what we can do is we can come along in here and I will move my face. There we go, because I know it's going to be on the right-hand side. Up the top here, click on layouts. And what we can do is click on add block, search for web form. And we can also then search for contact and click on add block. Let's move that above content and click on save. Now we have added in this web form right here. And if we edit our page, let's put in a bit of test content and hit save, you can now see that the form is above the web form. But we can then go ahead and change it and then just move things around. So let's say, well, we actually want the web form below content and hit save. And now it is below. Now, one thing to be aware of is if you are going to override layouts at the page level, just be aware that as soon as it is overridden, so as soon as you come to here and click on layout and make your changes directly in here, that means that if you want to make a change across all of your basic pages by coming into manage display and manage layout, and you make a change here, none of these overridden pages will be changed because you have technically overridden them. You're treating this as content. So just be aware of that. Because let's say, for example, we want to move the paragraphs above tags. Okay. We do that and we click on save. Now we are changing this at the content type level. So here, take note of this. You are editing the layout template for all basic page content items. So that means every single basic page that hasn't been overridden will get the new layout. So if we come along in here and click on test page, well, we're not going to see our, well, what did I move around? Tags, right? Test, no, what is it? Test 1, test 2. Okay. Let me just quickly check. What did I move? Okay, so yeah, tags will be below paragraphs. Okay, just go revert that. And now you can see tags will be below paragraphs. That's correct. But if we come to this page, which was the one that we overrode, and if we put in a title here, well, tags, you'll see that that is a terrible example because it is still, what is it? Tags. Let me just double check that. Well, let me just put in, and there you go. Okay. All right. And you can see that the actual paragraph version of the form is, so this is the paragraph version. Yes, it is, because it's got paragraphs right here, is still below tags. So you can imagine, let's say you have 200 pages and half of them you've overridden the layout at the page level. Now you need to go through all of these pages and manually make changes. So what you could do is you can come along in here and then just click on revert to default. And where is our paragraph? Go here, go on that, and to put in a tag, they should have, there you go, the tags below. And there you go. So just be aware that if you are going to override layouts, as soon as you override it, it is treated as content. So that's a very important thing to understand. All right. So Webform also comes with a module called a Webform Node. So if we go to structure, if we go to extend and search for Webform, and you should see, where is it? Webform Node. And this gives you an actual content type called Webform, which you can then use as you would any other content type, and then you can simply embed a form into it. So let's just click on install. And we'll give it a moment. And then go to create, and you should see a new web form page. Now, first things first is we need to make a quick change. So we need to go to content types and then manage fields and manage display. And we need to move the web form widget to the active section. And if we click on manage display, we also want to move web form into the active section. Now what we can do is go to web form, and for this one, my web form, and from the drop down we can select the was this helpful, or just select any type of web form. And again, you get the same set of settings as you would if you were to put the field on the paragraph type, because it is the same field type. So it's pretty easy. Then click on save, and now you can easily use the web form on just this page. And best of all, because this is a content type, you can treat it as a content type. You can treat it, you can create views for it, you can do whatever you want, because it's just another content type, and that's it. So by using the web form field, you can attach it to paragraphs, you can attach it to content types, you can even attach it to, content blocks as well. There's a lot of options you can do when it comes to embedding forms in Drupal. All right, let's now take a look at displaying web forms in a dialog box or as a modal box. And I do believe that there was a comment about this in just this live stream. So to configure web forms, to do that, let's go into web forms, and you want to click on configuration. And then under forms, you scroll all the way down until you find form dialog settings, and just enable it. So you want to enable it site-wide. And you do have three options here that you'll get on the web form. So you'll get a wide version, a narrow version, and also a normal version. But you can also add in your own custom version as well, with a custom width and height. Oh, just got an itchy nose instantly. Oh, probably had a mosquito fly up it or something. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. So yeah, by default, you get narrow, normal, and wide, and you can also add in your own widths and sizes if you like. So once that's been configured and turned on, then what you need to do is go into your actual form, go to settings, and I'll move myself back to the right-hand side, and then click on settings. And if you scroll down to dialog settings, you will see the options for each size. So if you click on test narrow, it'll show you what the dialog looks like for narrow, normal, wide, and you can also specify a custom width and height by using the data-dialog-options. Now, the trick is you need to generate this type of markup and add it just anywhere into your Drupal site. Well, you don't need the button, but all you need is a web form dialog and then the size, and that's it. So if we were to, say, copy all of this and go to one of our pages, well, let's edit this one. Let's remove this web form and add in a bunch of test data. And what we can do is we could just add this link in here. Well, let me copy this across. So again, I'll copy this. We should be able to just add it in here and click on save. But if we click on it, it's just going to link us directly to the form. Now, there is a bit of site building. What we need to do is we need to configure the text format. So let's go and edit this. We need to configure the text format because we need to allow a few things. So let's go into configuration, text formats, and configure. And we need to allow a few elements, well, a few attributes on the A tag. Now, back in the day, in good old Drupal, I think 9 or probably 10, you could edit this, but things have changed. What we need to do is we need to go up to source editing, and we need to add in this right here. So that is A tag and then hreflang and also class. And so this will allow us to add classes, the class attribute. So if we click on save, let's go back here. Let's grab this bit of markup. And if you click on source again, well, let's refresh. Paste. And let's click on source. Now it becomes a button, so you know that the actual classes haven't been cleaned out. No, they haven't. And then click on save. And now if you click on this, you will get the modal pop up. So the most important part is these classes right here. So that is Webform dialog and Webform dialog wide. You can actually get rid of this button and no longer looks like a button, but you get this nice little pop-up. Now, there is a bit of styling involved because if you take a look and if you have a look and see what this looks like on the front end using the standard theme, it doesn't look the best. That's essentially what it looks like. So you can imagine, okay, you're going to have to do a bit of styling to kind of make it look nice. So where is that? Web form. Probably add a bit of a background color. Don't show this. Background. What is it? Padding. There you go. You can see, there's a bit of styling involved. Okay. And also you need to make sure that where is the close button? Oh, it's there somewhere. Oh, it's there. It's hidden. It's hidden in the corner. Generally, the styling is pretty good, but maybe they've taken out some type of styling. All right, so let's go back here. And now adding in these links is a little annoying. Honestly, you don't want to have to do it this way. So what you could do is let's add in a button called, I don't know, Webform link. You could just click on there and then just link to your actual page. But the problem is we need to add these classes in. How can you add these classes through CKEditor? Well, luckily there is a module called Editor Advanced Link. And this allows us to add specific link attributes from CKEditor. So go ahead and download the latest version. I think that'll be this one right here. And what I'll do is I'll open up this in Extend. And I'll search for, what is it, Editor Advanced Link, and click on Install. All right, give that a moment. And then all you need to do is go into your text format and then click on Editor Advanced Link, and then you can easily just switch on certain attributes. So in this example, we want classes, and it's going to go ahead and complain because what is happening is we have under here it is saying that the following attributes are already supported by enabled plugins and should not be added. So this list, where is it? Right here. Yeah. So this list of allowed HTML tags is automatically handled by the plugin. So whenever you install or enable a CKEditor plugin, it automatically defines the allowed HTML tags. And you can see, you should be able to find the A tag is somewhere. There it is. And now class has been allowed. Okay. So class has been allowed now because we have enabled this option right here. So what we can do is we can simply go ahead and remove it. Now click on save. And let me just have a look because I do believe that already. Yeah, see, that's already there. So we could probably get rid of this. Let's just get rid of this altogether. And click on save. All right, cool, cool. All right, that still works, which is great. But best of all, what we can do is click on our link and then edit the link. And then we'll get this new option called advanced. And now we can throw in, what is it? Let's just put in narrow, for example. What? And click on update and hit save. And now we can display it using the narrow size. And we didn't have to write any custom markup or edit the source and manually change things. And that is all thanks to editor advanced link. But let's take things one step further and let's add in the ability to define your data dialog options. So to do that, what we'll need to do is we will have to add in, well, we'll need to add this back in. So what's the exact markup? I always forget. All right, it's complaining about that. But we need to add in this option, which is data dialog options. Okay. And I do believe, what does this look like? Yeah, it's fine. All right, cool. Where is that? Data dialog options. Oh, it's already there. Okay. Let's hit save. And what we can do, let's copy this across. Let's go back here, click on edit. Well, this one, unfortunately, we'll have to add in as an attribute. So data dialog. What's the exact options? And if everything's working, there you go. It's nice and compact. There you have it. So let's just quickly recap what we have covered. So when it comes to the standard web form page, you can use the view tab, and this will give you a basic page with the web form. And you can also modify the URL to the form and the confirmation page. We also then looked at embedding a form right down at the bottom. as a block. You can also add it in as a sidebar option as well. Then we took a look at how to add it as a paragraph item. So where was that? I think right here. You can add a nice little web form using paragraphs. Then it was through Layout Builder. Yes, you can add web forms through Layout Builder. And then we had to play with that's right, the Webform Node submodule, which then gives us this great little content type with a field, but make sure you move that web form field up and make it visible. And finally, we finish things off by utilizing the dialog settings in web form. So as you can see, there's a ton of different options when it comes to embedding in forms embedding forms with Drupal and web form. And if anyone has any fancy ways that they've done it, please leave a comment. I'd love to see it. The other way I've done it, which I wasn't going to cover, well, I was at first, but then I thought the live stream will go too long, and that is to use web form REST and then have like some type of like React or Vue component where you define your form that way, and then you simply submit the form data back to Drupal. So that's another option, and I've done that in the past. But we had to build, well, I didn't build, a whole front-end team built this whole functionality where you build the form in Drupal and then it exposes all of the form elements and fields, and then front-end components just build everything out for you. It was pretty full on. When you do have a decoupled system, you kind of realize just how much Drupal does out of the box. So yeah, every little thing you did, it's like, oh, well, we need to build a front-end component for that. So you do have that option. So that is all the ways you can embed a form in Drupal using Webform. So that's about it. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the questions and comments. Please keep them coming. I will stay a bit longer after this. But if you want to learn more about Drupal, head over to webwash.net. And also, if you want to help out the community and help out the channel, think about joining us and get access to me and also some perhaps private live streams or something like that. Like, I just need the people there, and I'll be more than happy to do custom live streams and more relaxed live streams or build streams, as I like to call them, like a build series. But yeah, just head over to webwash.net/premium to learn about it. But also, if you want to learn more about Drupal itself, then check out all the live streams. I do have a bunch of them. And yeah, if you have any comments and have any ideas for future live streams, please let me know. Anyway, thank you. That is it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. All right. Oh, another one. Oh man, thanks. Thanks. All right. Thank you. Yeah, have a great weekend. Yeah, you too. You too. Oh, well, thanks for everyone. I hope everyone found this useful. It was fun. All right. Thanks for joining. Yeah, thanks for everyone who came. All right. Thanks for. All right. That was fun. That was fun. I wonder if you can define your own attributes. I thought you could. In here. Which one was it? There was. Oh, so you could define your own custom attributes with this. Move version, refactor. Oh, okay. So that's alter. Can, uh, I honestly thought you could define because then let's have a quick look. Where's VS Code? There's VS Code. All right. Let's have a quick look at the module. Editor advanced. Oh, no, not there. Not in core. Modules, contrib, advanced. What is it? What is it called? Editor. I'll get there eventually. Editor advanced. There we go. All right. So what does this define? Now it just defines that supported attribute. Oh, okay. So there's the supported attributes. Now, can I add in my own attributes? That's the $1 million question. Allowed attributes. No, out of bounds. Allowed attributes. Yes, yes, yes. Can I put in my own attributes? Any hooks? All right, you can put it there. Webform. Okay, so that's not. Okay, maybe not. Anyway, I just thought you could do that. But anyway, maybe I didn't. Description. Oh, what's this module? Always like to discover new modules. Let's take a look at this one. So this is pretty much, what is it? Hasn't been updated since 2022. Anyway, maybe, yeah, LinkIt deprecated it. All right, cool. Anyway, thank you so much everyone for joining. I'll catch you all next week. Oh, oh, nice. Someone on X. Don't often get comments on there. Wait a minute. Where are the comments now on X? I see it. Oh, thanks for joining. All right. All right. Well, have a great weekend. Catch you all.